Mixed berries chocolate cake is the easiest, most perfect dessert for any occasion. Or just because. Who needs an occasion to be happy while savoring every bite of this heaven? So where do I begin describing this cake to you? The combination of berries and chocolate, there are no words to describe this yumminess. It's out of this world. It's layers of delicious cake with chocolate and mixed berries and a mousse frosting, topped with some shredded chocolate and maraschino cherries. If your mouth is watering by now, then continue watching and you'll learn how to make it as well. In a bowl, add 3 eggs, 1 cup of sugar, and a pinch of salt. Beat that with a hand mixer until lightly foamy, roughly 4 to 5 minutes. Then add 1 cup plus 2 tablespoons of buttermilk and 3 tablespoons of oil. Mix for a few more seconds just to combine all the ingredients. In a sifter, add 1 cup plus 2 tablespoons of flour, 2 to 3 tablespoons of cocoa powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Sift your dry ingredients and combine them with your wet ingredients. Your batter is ready. Pour your batter onto your 10-inch round baking pan that's been lined with parchment paper. Use every drop of this batter. This is going in a 350 degrees Fahrenheit preheated oven in a center rack for 35 to 40 minutes. Now let's prepare our berries. You can certainly use fresh berries, but frozen will work just fine. Place them in a bowl and add 2 tablespoons of sugar. Let them sit at room temperature to release all the liquid. Now let's prepare the chocolate. We will use this to brush our sponge cakes to ensure they're moist and have the chocolate taste in between layers. In a saucepan, add a 1/4 cup of milk, a 1/4 cup of sugar, and 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder. Combine these ingredients over medium heat until your sugar has melted and there are no lumps from the cocoa powder. Add 3 tablespoons of butter. Mix until the butter has melted. Then transfer it to a separate bowl and set aside to cool at room temperature. Now let's prepare our mousse frosting. In a separate bowl, add 24 ounces of sour cream. Now make sure your sour cream is as thick as you can find it. 18% saturated fat would be minimum of what you're looking for. To that, add 2/3 cup of powdered sugar and mix to combine. Lastly, add 1 pack or 7 grams of unflavored gelatin that has been soaked in the water and dissolved over low heat. The gelatin will give your cream a mousse consistency. Mix to combine. Cover it with plastic wrap and place it in the fridge to chill. This frosting is perfect because you can make it a day ahead. Our cake is ready. And you will know it's ready when a toothpick inserted into the center comes out clean. Use a knife to loosen it up from the pan by going around your sides. Place your cake on a wire rack upside down and let it sit at room temperature for a few minutes to cool completely. Cut your sponge cake in 3 layers and make sure to save the surface part of the cake. We will use it later to decorate. Once your frosting is completely cooled, we are ready to assemble our cake. I wanted to show the consistency of this frosting. Look at this. It is so spongy and fluffy. It's perfect. Place your top slice onto a serving platter and take a note here. Always place your top cake layer at the bottom and the one from the bottom on the top. I like to place it upside down. This way you have the smoothest, most even surface. This is also a very good practice with any other cakes you're making. Use a silicone brush to drizzle some of your chocolate on top of your first layer. Add a generous amount of frosting, about 1/3, and spread that evenly to the edges of your cake. Top it with your berries and repeat the process with the second and third layers. Do not use the frozen berries on top of your final layer. Use your remaining frosting to thinly apply it all around your cake. Use some to the sides to make sure your cake is evenly coated. This will help seal the moisture of the cake. I used the top part of the cake that I sliced off earlier and crumbled it up in a blender. We're going to use it to cover the sides of this cake. Just like that. You can decorate the top of this cake however you prefer. You can add some fresh berries or simply grate some chocolate. Now, since this is an order from a client, I am going to use some buttercream cheese frosting to pipe some flowers on top of the cake. I will leave all the ingredients as well as measurements for you in the description box below. I am decorating the top with some maraschino cherries and grating some chocolate in the middle of the cake. And voila, all done. This cake is so light and fluffy and super easy to make. I've also been looking for suggestions on how to name this cake. If you have any ideas after you make it, please let me know in the comments. Enjoy! And I'll see you next week with a new delicious simple recipe.